What's up, YouTube? Hey! Welcome to part 3 of creating a web app from scratch. So as you know, this is the newest series on this channel, and we're doing this series with fellow YouTubers, Sturdy Code, and what we're doing is we're challenging ourselves to create a web app. So in the first video of the series, that was on Sturdy Code's channel, and what he did was he introduced the app. So you know, we're doing everything Black entertainment, inspired by Black History Month. We are working on a web app that's basically going to provide a list of recommendations, movie recommendations, when a user types in a genre into a form field or into a search bar. And then in part 2, what I did was I used Create React app to set up our project. Then I also put our project up on GitHub so Sturdy Code and I can collaborate. And then I also hosted it on Heroku so all of you guys could also see our progress and watch this web app go from basically a template to a web app. So now in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up the code from Create React app. I'm going to set up the project a little bit more, and then after that, if we have time, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add the search bar. If you can write hello world, hello, you can change the world. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start cleaning up the project. So I'm just going to open Visual Studio Code. That is my editor of choice. However, you can use whatever editor you want. Editors just make it easier to write code and develop code. So use what you're comfortable with. And if you have no idea what to use, I would definitely recommend Visual Studio Code. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Everything Black Entertainment app, because that is the project we're working on. And now there's certain changes that I want to add. So I think what I'm going to do first is create a branch, and the branch is going to have all the changes that I'm working on. So let's do get status to see what branch we're currently on. Okay, so we're on branch master. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to a different branch, and we're going to call this code cleanup. Nice, so now on code cleanup. So let's start cleaning stuff up. So as you can see, these are the different folders and files that we have. So we have node modules. Those are kind of like the modules that our project needs in order to run. You know, we depend on them. And then we also have a public folder. So let's start with opening index.html. So basically, HTML stands for hypertext markup language. But basically what HTML does is it cares about kind of like the structure of our code. So for example, HTML contains elements, and these elements can be different things like, okay, we have the H1, which is a header, to we have a paragraph element, and then finally we have a button element. Or it could be something completely different, like maybe we have, let me look at this specific file. So yeah, so there's a head element, as you can see. They have body, they have the overarching, the huge, basically HTML one. So this basically represents kind of like, I keep saying structure, but how our code looks. So for example, what I want to do is I actually want to run our code. So if you don't remember the command that we use to run our code, all you have to do is open up the package.json. So that's over here. And what this file is about, it kind of gives us information about our projects. It's like metadata. So for example, we have the name of our project, which is Everything Black Entertainment. We got the dependencies, so our project needs these different dependencies. For example, React. Like we need React and we need this version or higher in order to basically use and run our project. And something else that we have over here is the script section. So for example, so I have my terminal open. However, if your terminal wasn't open, you just have to go to the top, go to terminal, and then do new terminal. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to run a command. And in order to start my server, I can run the command npm start. And how I know to run that command is it's right here. So when I run npm starts, kind of like behind the hood or underneath, it's really running React script start. So let me show you what this does. I'm going to press enter, and you're going to see like I'm not touching my computer right now, but it automatically opens up a browser. So it opened up Chrome, and for example, what it did was it basically showed the project. So it opened up the project that I was currently working in. So that is fantastic. But let's go back to the other file we were just in, index.html. So you can see, for example, we have this doc type, HTML tag, another HTML tag, and we have all these different elements or tags inside. So if I open up my browser window, and I'm going to open up developer tools. So I'm currently in Chrome, and Chrome has this thing called developer tools, and it's so great. It is amazing for front end development. So the way you can go there is you go to view, view, and then developer, and then developer tools. So I usually don't go that route. I just do like the shortcut. So you can either open up developer tools by clicking that, and you can see it opens up on the side. Or what you can do is you can do Option Command I. And developer tools also opens up. So basically, I was just basically in responsive mode. So what's great is you can actually see your web app, and you can see your website on different phones. So for example, this is iPhone 6, but I could also see how my app looks like in Galaxy S5, or what it looks like on an iPad Pro. So this is really great to make sure that your web app is responsive, just because, you know, these days a lot of people have their phones. So you really want to make sure that your web app looks good on mobile phones as well, because you never know, maybe the majority of people might be looking at your web app from a phone. So yeah, so that's how you go there. It's just at the top here. That's how you can see like the different devices. But what I really want to show you is the HTML. So for example, let's say I start to inspect this page and I click on this. Right now you can actually see like the structure of the code. So for example, you can see the head, right? You can see all this different information here. And for example, the title of this is React App. You can actually see that React App is displayed at the top. I'm actually going to change that, and I'm going to change that to Everything Black Entertainment, because that's the name of our app. So I do that, and you can see over here, this gets updated, and also this gets updated over here as well. Yeah, y'all see where it's at? Okay, there we go. Yes, the title, Everything Black Entertainment. So that is super great. So now, as you can see, like, oh yeah, and then also something else you can do here, which is super cool, is like you can actually like change different values, and it actually gets like it actually occurs. So for example, what I mean is like, let's say I was looking at this app header. What I could do is I can see this is actually like the CSS, and CSS is all about kind of like styling. So for example, before I had like the HTML, and HTML is about structure. What different things do we have on the page? And then the CSS is like, okay, how can we actually style the things or the elements that we have on the page? So for example, I can actually take out like background color and see how it looks. Or I can like do a combination, take out mid-height, and all of this is just basically different things that are actually in our code right now. So you see app header, right? App header is a class, and the reason why I know it's a class is because of that dot right there. So if I go to our code, right, and I actually go to app.css, you're going to see app header represented right here. And also what's really cool too is if we go to app.js, you can see there's going to be app header, which is a class name. So if I'm going fast with this, please let me know. I'm kind of like, I don't know if I should like speed through things, or because it's hard to know like where everybody is at with this stuff. So if I'm like going way too fast, please check me in the comments below, and I will do better with that next time. Or if you think I can go faster, like you guys know all of this and you just want to see like go into some harder stuff, let me know that as well. Okay, but yeah, let's keep going. So to clean up this code, what I want to do is, right now we're returning a lot of different things here, but I don't even care about that. What I really want to do is return, let's just return an H1, and it's going to be our title, Everything Black Entertainment. Yeah, so what we don't need, since we're not using a logo, we don't need the logo. And I'm actually going to keep this app.css file, even though I'm going to delete everything inside, just because I know in the future we're going to like add some styling to basically what's in app.js. So I don't want to delete app.css. So that's cool. And then you can see over here, we just have Everything Black Entertainment displayed on the page. But now what I want to do is I want to keep going, and I actually want to go inside the source folder, and I'm going to create a components folder. And basically components are the building blocks of React. With components we can build reusable UI. And also you can also like organize your code, and components are great and they're like fundamental to React. So I know I'm going to be creating a lot of different components. So just so this application scales well and these files are organized, I'm creating the components folder. So you can see here, I go new folder, and then, okay, so let me create this components folder, and let me pause this video. So inside components, what I actually want to do is I'm going to create a new file, and this is going to be our header file. So let's create that over here. And with this header file, what I'm going to do is import React. And then after that, we are going to do is we're going to create a functional component. So export const, and actually, let's have this file be capital letter, just because components by convention usually start with a capital letter. That's how you can tell the difference between components versus, like, for example, HTML elements. So we have that over here. Okay. So let's keep going. Okay, so we have our header. And when I say functional component, in JavaScript, it basically looks like a regular function. It's just inside we have JSX. And JSX is basically, it kind of looks like HTML or XML, but it's React's way of writing like that XML, HTML type markup language. So what we're going to do is we're going to return, let's put an H1, I'm going to say Everything Black Entertainment. And now actually here, instead of just returning the header here, what we're going to do is we're actually going to have header like so. And then you see how my editor basically imported this header for me. That's kind of like why editors are so cool. You know, I didn't have to manually type out line 3 because Visual Studio Code knew when it saw this component that it actually came from a different file and it imported it for me. So yeah, so that's like the power of editors, and that's really cool. So okay, so now what we can do is let's change that to this. Compiled successfully, and we expect to see Everything Black Entertainment. So let's change this meta tag here. So for name, let's put Everything Black Entertainment, and let's also say it is a website, a movie, let's say a black movie recommender site. We might change that later on, but that's more specific to our project, so that's good. And yeah, this index.html file is looking really good. So also something to note here is that there's going to be an ID called root, as you can see here. And actually in our index.js file, you can see that they have this like render function. And basically what is happening is we're passing an app, which we just saw over here, and basically it's saying let's get this element by ID root, and what we're going to do is we're going to render, or we're going to display this app component. So that's how kind of like everything is connected. Like you have your index.html, which has the ID root, and then you have the index.js, which has this render function, which is basically saying like get that root ID and let's display app. And then if you actually look at our DOM structure over here, you can actually see that happening. So for example, let's go to our body. So in our body, you see the div ID equals root right there. And then under it right there, you can see everything Black Entertainment. And that's the header component that we created. Let's just clean up a few more things as well. Index.css. Let's see the font. So if I go back here, do I actually like the font they used? Yeah, that looks too formal. Yeah, we can keep the font that they added. Oh, so I see there's a problem. Let's see what that is. So it says, unable to find an element with the text, learn React. This could be because the text is broken up by multiple elements. In this case, everything Black Entertainment. Okay, so the problem that happened here was I actually changed the text that was on the screen. However, that was actually one of the tests. We're testing that there was actually that text on the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to, since we're rendering everything Black Entertainment, I'm just going to like type that out. And let's hope this test pass now. Okay, cool. I wonder if I change one letter, will it still pass? Okay, so it's actually working. Nice, sanity check. Okay, so we're doing that. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that we want to clean up. I don't want to remove the logo yet, just because we don't have a logo. I actually think the React logo looks pretty cool, so we can leave that in for now. And yeah, y'all, we have cleaned up our code. So I've been researching different search bars that we can add to our code, because you know, with everything Black Entertainment, the user will be able to type in a genre and get like movie recommendations. And I was trying to find basically like the best way we can do this. And like by best ways, because I knew I didn't want to code that whole search bar from scratch, just because that would be like reinventing the wheel, because there's so many search bars out there and I kind of don't care to practice that. Like for example, the CSS, if we wanted to make it responsive and look good on all the different phones and all that stuff, that's going to be a lot of work to make that responsive. So I was looking something up called Elastic UI. And let's go to their GitHub. And I was just loving this framework. So some great things about it is like, look, you can see that it was updated 9 hours ago. So you wouldn't want to use someone's code that they didn't update it until like from 2014 or something crazy like that. Just because if they are not working on it, if you run into a bug or there's a problem, no one's gonna help you, no one's working on it, you know. So I just like to do stuff that people are continually working on. It's fresh, and that's like really cool to see. And that's also one of the great things with React, you know, people are always like working on it, like the team at Facebook that created it. So it's like, it's good that they're always improving it and adding new features. Actually, I don't think this is what I want. Elastic UI search. Elasticsearch UI. And then let's try this one maybe. This was updated 23 days ago, okay. Yeah, so this was what I was looking at. So basically what I want to do is I want my code to look like this. You know what I'm saying? Just because we want a search bar and then we want the user to get results and we want it to look kind of like this. And later we'll customize the UI to make it more us. But for now, I think this is a great start. So what we're going to do is we're going to use npm to install this. Okay, so let's do npm install. And let's install this bad boy. thank you NPM for handling all our packages and our node modules. So it looks like it was good. Okay, cool. So now, actually, let's look at the command that we ran again. Nice. So I'm expecting to see this in my package.json. So like, let's see if it's there. If not, this is awkward. Okay, nice. So now you see the Elasticsearch things because we just added it. So, you know, our package.json is like, hey, I just added these dependencies. These are the version numbers. In order to run this code, you must have Elastic React Search UI version 1.32 or greater. And when I say or greater, it actually just means it still has to have that 1 in it, because if you change it to 2, then you gotta redo some stuff. So it only works for 1. So let's go to app.js, and I'm gonna add it here, even though actually I feel like I'm gonna move it to a separate component. So let me just actually add it as a separate, or we can add it for app for now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this code here, I'm gonna copy it, and I'm going to add it here. So React, you can take that out. Okay, so there we go. And then what they did, export default. Okay, so we also exported default, making sure that's lining up. And then let's just delete all of this, but we can still take our header component. Okay, cool. And let's add header to here. We'll add it to our return. And actually, let's like add a div here. Okay, and then let's fix the spacing. Like so. I'm just making sure it's still recording because sometimes it'd be stopping out of nowhere, my camera, and I'm like, yo, why you do that to me? Okay. I don't know, I feel like the spacing's off, but when we add the linting, the linting will tell us. Okay, so we add our, let's just type out header. Okay, nice. So now, let us see this, how it looks. Any errors, let's see if we get any. So again, we'll do npm start. And something is already running. Would you like to run another thing? Okay, so it's already running. So let's just go look at it. Hey, everything black entertainment. So we have our search bar. And it's really that easy. However, what was interesting was it took a lot of research in order to find like this search bar. So that's why software engineering, it's like it's more than just coding. You know, it's also about doing research, thinking about the problem that you have, the problem you're trying to solve, and all that stuff. Because if I started coding this from scratch, we would be here for a couple hours, you know what I'm saying? Just because, like, look at this. Like, if I look at it in different phone screens, you can see it gets bigger or smaller based off the phone screen. And now what is going to happen in the next video is Sturdy Code is actually working on the API call and all the back-end work so that when we do type in a movie recommendation, it's going to actually like give us results. Like for example, right now, if I typed in like Canyon, you see I get results for canyons, and that's because of this code right here. The connector, it's all about canyons and stuff, but our connector is actually going to be like the black movie recommendation. And you can see also stuff here, so that's our header. You can see they have like a search provider, which is connecting basically like the API call, so our connector is going to be different. And you can also see like, okay, there's like a layout, you know, there's the search box, that's what's appearing on the screen. Body content, you can see this over here. So like the results and all that stuff, and you can see like we're actually like importing that at the top. So like the results, the search box, blah blah blah. I can't talk anymore. I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay guys, well that is it for this video. Now what you see me doing is I'm basically taking all of the changes that I made, all of the different updates that I made to these files that I made in this video, and I am basically pushing that to GitHub. I'm actually creating a pull request or a PR. So I'm going to have Sturdy Code check this code, make sure that we're aligned before we upload it. Okay, bye.